Hi, I'm Rachel Allan. I'm a marketer, speaker, coach and author. I was a proud facilitator of marketing conversations for the second time and brought myself and 7 other amazing speakers together to talk about marketing, mindset and business. And this is the recording of one of our speakers. Enjoy. Megan. Thanks, Megan.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here. So I am a trichologist. A trichologist is a hair and scalp specialist. So I've got a practice in Ballarat, one of 3 trichologists in Victoria. We're like a rare breed. And so my first book is not about trichology, but I thought if you've got any questions, please let me know, because I want to provide as much value as I can. So if you've got questions, just pop it in the chat box. And for those on live stream, I'll have to get to you later. Okay, so what was my first bit? Hang on, I've got 2 computers going. So I thought I'd start a little bit about what I do. You know, I'm a trichologist. I'm also a business mentor for hairdressing salons, and I teach hairdressing at TAFE, and I'm a mother of 2 crazy little kids with attitude. Their mum's got attitude, so I can't expect them not to have attitude, and attitude's good. So have you ever thought of writing a book? I know Liz has, and I know Rachel has, and it's quite a journey. It's an amazing journey. I published my first book, that's it, Your Salon Success, in 2016, and since then I've been involved in 5 others. It's quite addictive. So I thought I'd start off a little bit about how I began my journey. I've always wanted to write a book, but never really known how. I know there's a whole lot of legal stuff you have to know about, ISBNs, and if the publisher owns your book, or do you own the book. So there's lots of questions that I have, or people have. And so I met a woman called Natasha Denman, and she owns a company called 48 Hour Author. And I like to do everything fast because I get bored easily. And to write a book in 48 hours was a no-brainer for me. It was a complete program that provided the planning and the formatting, as well from planning to having this hot little book in my hand. I do say I had to get the front cover photoshopped because I was a little larger, and then I had to lose weight so it looked like my cover. So that worked for two reasons. Hi Rebecca. Okay, so I met Natasha in the last 2 weeks of October, and I'd signed up to the program for the 2nd week in November, and I had my book in my hand in February, so it was fast. I also help with retreats for Natasha. Every November I go, it's like an anniversary, and I go to the retreats. There's 15 authors at a time, because I like to help them. I know what it's like to be at the beginning, to have the idea and the fear and self-doubt and wonder. You know, you get everyone, well, I'm sure everyone has their little voice that says you're not good enough, or who's going to want to read something you've written. They're the voices that I heard in my head. And a lot of people listen to those voices and are brave enough to actually get their story out. Everyone's got a story, I reckon. And so that's why I like to help with the retreat. Because it's important that the people are supported throughout their journey. So it's one thing to have your book. Once you get it in your hand, then what do you do with it? So I had 500 copies of this book, and of course I wrote it, so it's the most, everyone has to have it. Why would you not want to buy my book? It's fabulous. It's, you know, everyone's passionate about it. It's like a baby, and it's quite precious. So the achievement of writing a book is one thing, but then after that wears down, it's sort of like the honeymoon period is over. I've got 16 boxes of books in my bedroom. What am I going to do with them? So I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing later. So I thought if I tell you a bit about my story of why I wrote this book. It's called Your Salon Success, and it's about a 24-year-old girl who moved to a town where no one knew her and bought a bankrupt hairdressing salon with 3 clients in my first week. Within 8 years, I turned over $1 million. I made lots of mistakes, but I made lots of successful decisions too. So this book is what I wish I'd had when I was 24. So I could have made different mistakes and written a different book. So it's so I suppose when you're thinking about writing a book, it's a lot of people write books for the person they were at 24 or whenever they had that experience, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So this book I wrote for my 24-year-old self, who was wanting to go into business but didn't have any idea about what it meant. And that, I think, is why also the 48-hour author program was created for people that want to write a book that don't know how. And so a lot of those books are self-help books, and people write books for different reasons. So that was my first one. And my second one was an interesting story. So the 4 others I've written are co-authorships. So Rachel knows how interesting it is to put together a co-authorship. I actually didn't put any of these together. I was just involved in it. So when you're a co-author, you're invited to add a chapter to the book. Obviously, certain topics and those sort of things. So this book was an interesting, these are 2 books. I won't show you the front cover because I've got a story about that. So this is the workbook that complements the written book. So there's 22 authors in this book, and it was an interesting journey because the person wasn't honest, basically, and integrity is one of my big things. Anyway, so to look at this book, you wouldn't know there's 22 authors in there. I think our names are mentioned there, but it doesn't look like our book. We weren't given the cover or anything. So when you become a co-author, you have no say in the cover, you have no say in the format or the publication. So basically, when you become a co-author, I always suggest to really trust that person or not to deal with them at all. I'd met this person once and was so excited. But anyway, so my chapter in this book is called My Life in Full Colour, and it's a story I thought I'd never share about my journey through postnatal depression. So at you have to turn negatives into positives. So the positive out of this was that I can now say that I had postnatal depression without the shame. And if it helps one person by reading this book, then that's my purpose. Do you know what I mean? So when you write a book, have a purpose in mind and a goal in mind, and you've got to know who your target is. Who do you want to buy this book, and write to that person. The fourth book is called Healthy Body, and as a trichologist, as you know, I was invited to join 10 other allied medical practitioners in creating a book that was easy to read with no medical jargon. So that's what this book is, and my chapter is about hair and scalp diseases that I see in clinic. I thought I'd also, if you're interested, hi Donnie, I'd also give away a copy of this to each person who drops an email in the comments in the Zoom. Just an ebook version, that's my gift to you. It's quite good, and not just my chapter. And the other book I'm launching actually next week, I won't be launching it. It's a big one, and I'm up there somewhere. And it's an anthology of 56 different trichologists from around the world, all sharing their stories. And the main thing I'm showing you these because every book has a purpose. There's a reason that every book was collaborated, although I'm not quite sure. Well, I think that, yeah, not quite sure about the first two. The reasons were different for them. But these ones have a purpose. And so this one's being launched in Washington on Saturday. And I can't be there. But anyway. So what else do I need to tell you? I think with writing a book, the main reason is fear, that people don't, and not knowing how. So there's plenty of help. To write a book, there's plenty of help out there, lots of programs, and the best thing I can say is copy other people. If someone you know has done it, do what they do. So as far as getting my book out there, when I said to myself, or the voice said to me, who's going to want to read your book? I've sold 325 copies and I'm in 7 countries. So just shut up. That little voice, just tell it to shut up and be brave and move out of your own ego and do it. If you've got a book you want to write, I just get so excited about it because it's changed my world, and my children have noticed a difference. I don't think the husband has because I'm always grumpy to him. But it's quite an amazing journey. In the last 2 years, when I first wrote Your Salon Success, I had 34 friends on Facebook. And because I didn't use it, how do I get into 7 countries when I haven't been to 7 countries? Facebook. Find the groups that are your target market. So, of course, my groups are hairdressers and salon owners, and join those groups and become involved quietly. Everybody gets spammed. We don't want spam, and you'll be kicked off by admin anyway. So I do posts saying it's our 2nd anniversary, and for this group only I have a special price for my book. That's how you get into 7 countries. Has anyone got any questions they want to ask? You're all still awake, I hope. It'd be embarrassing if you've gone to sleep. Let's see what says in the chat. No, okay. Yeah. Other ways, did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to, just listening to you talking about the contributions and having contributors in your books. I had 30 in my book, and as someone who organised it, it was very, getting it all together wasn't hard. It was the follow-up and the getting, when I did the audio book, getting them to do their versions, then doing all the admin and paperwork and everything behind it. So I'd certainly be a lot more organised, but I wouldn't have 30 people contribute in the book. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I had amazing people. I've also been part of written chapters for other books, and I think that that's a really good way to just get your name out there and to actually say, it's not just one book. It's, at the moment, I've got another 2 books that I've written chapters for and another one coming. So I think it's just about building your expertise around that. So I think that they're really beneficial in that stepping off into the marketing stuff.
Yeah, and you get to be involved in their network, and quite often their network's different to yours. So yeah. It's about expanding and it gives you so much credibility.
Yeah.
I spoke at Hair Expo, which is one of the goals I set at the retreat.
Yeah.
Get the life out of me, but 60,000 people saw my posts.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I didn't have 60,000 people at the workshop. I had 90. But, thank God I would have done it right. But it gives you credibility.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. And you get to work with other people in different networks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's important as well. Just on you said that you had a lesson in not doing it. I've contributed chapters to publishers who just put out a contribution book, and they're literally just putting another book through their printing press.
Yeah.
So I've also learnt not to do those.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's all learning. You learn a lot. I've learned more in the last 2 years than I think I've ever learned before, and about myself, really.
Yeah.
About being brave.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's just about sharing your story. That's what sells. People love to hear stories, and if it's relevant to them, then it sells.
Yeah, cool. I'll let you go deeper into some marketing that you do.
Oh, let me think now. So I got the book. So I started off with an idea. Hi, Hayley. And then I had the book in my hand. And so I'm one to, if I don't know what I'm doing, I follow and copy someone that does. So I went to a couple of book launches because I wanted to have a book launch, but I didn't know how to do it. So I went to a book launch and watched what they did and then did the same. And it's all about creating an emotional connection. So most of you guys would network. Networking is the foundation. And I used to hate networking because I used to go in there to try and get business. And you can't, it's not what it's about. Women don't make their decisions on whether they're going to do business with you straight away. You have to actually build an emotional connection. And Facebook is the same. People have to like you and trust you before they'll do business with you, unless you're very lucky and write really good posts. so we've got the book. I've got a really good IT guy, Michael, who created a website around, so a landing page. So I had the book and a web page and a landing page. So how am I going to direct my target market to my landing page? So that was the next question. So Facebook, it's free unless you pay for advertising, and I never pay for advertising on Facebook. I never, as far as advertising, and even in a salon, I wouldn't pay. If I got at least a 50% return, then I may think about spending the money on the advertising, but unless I get a 50% return, I'm not going to do it. And you can't be guaranteed that with Facebook or any marketing. So advertising, the best advertising is free. And so that's why I joined a few groups, and it takes a while. You can't just go in and comment on a couple of people's posts and then say, look what I've got. So it does take a bit of time. But like I said, 325 books and 7 countries in 2 years. So it does happen. You just have to be patient and don't give up, and be brave. That's the main thing, really. Be brave enough to step out of your comfort zone. And a lot of people don't like that. I hate it, but I do it every day. And so, you know, it just becomes you know, part of something that you do. So expos are good for marketing. You can see I've got my poster here. I've hidden my face because I don't want to scare you. You've already got one of me. You don't want 2 of me. That's been photoshopped so it looks better. So I'm not going to show you that face. Expos are good, but then, you know, it also comes down to the cost. So to advertise at Hair Expo would be like $3,000, and you may get a couple of people buying a book. So there are other ways. Networking with people that you. So my target audience are hairdressing salons for this book, and salon owners. So I focus on the people that supply them. So I go to the trade suppliers. So when I went to Hair Expo last weekend, I went and spoke to the people that do the magazines and advertising and you know, the companies. So always look for the people that supply your target market with marketing and that sort of thing. What else? Yes, you'll always get people that knock you. So not just the voice in your head, actual people. When I told my mother-in-law I was going to write a book, she laughed in my face. And so I thought, oh, well, it was, oh, how rude. All right, I'll show you. And I did 5 times. So now when I say, I've got a new book, she goes, oh, that's nice, dear. It's like, oh, my God. Some people are just never happy, you know, so you've got to be true to yourself, be proud of yourself. You will get haters. The more successful you are, the more people try and knock you down. And so it's a learning journey of resilience. It really does come down to believing in what you do and providing that value. And with Facebook, I often just give some free advice because it's value. People will read it and go, oh, well, that's interesting. And then a month or so later, I might post, it's our 6-month anniversary or whatever it is. And then they go, oh, so they make a link and then may buy the book. Every time I do a post, I sell a book, which is, it's good for me. I'm happy with that. It ticks along. So around this book, I now have a website and a landing page. I do Facebook, and I also have created a business to go around it, which is a mentoring business for salons. So it really depends on how you write your book. So this book has 12 chapters. I know that hairdressers are busy people and like bright, shiny objects, so they focus for a short amount of time on one thing. Well, I'm being general, not everyone, just in case I get a couple of haters from this. And so each chapter is a complete topic. And so therefore I have 12 chapters. There are 12 months in the year. I have 12 training programs, either for each month of the year or for a boot camp of 3 months. Does that make sense? So you can create a business around your book in that way. It depends how it's formatted, how you write it. And I advertise those on Facebook as well. I love Facebook. It's my best friend to a point. What else? Have you got any suggestions, Rachel?
No, I was actually going to ask a question around building the business around your book. So we're often told to write a book because it's a great business card. And I think as a business card, it's a very expensive business card to actually produce. But I do understand that it's about building your authority in that area. So when you talk about your book and you say you've got other training programs, is there something outside your book that you do with people, or is it just sell them the book?
No, I sell them the book as an introduction. So they read the book. It's always about gathering data, I suppose, gathering contacts. And so then once they've bought the book, I talk to them about, if the book interested you, do you want to work on what are your businesses? So I have a free giveaway. So sometimes on Facebook I say, I'll give you the book and a PDF called, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. Oh, business health check. So sorry. My copy's worn off. It's a business health check. So it's an easy template to see if their business fits into all the legal requirements and the basic boring stuff. And that's also what I use at our first meeting, just so I know where they are in their mind with the business. And then, so it's sort of like wining and dining the person to the end product, which is a boot camp type. Yep. So it's different for every business. So at Hair Expo, I don't have business cards for your salon success. I have these, but I don't give them out to everyone. I give them out to people that are actually interested. Hi Tammy. So I gave it out to Excellent Edges, who are a scissor company who supply around the world, and I gave one out to a magazine who I'm going to be writing for in the future. So it is like a business card on steroids, but it is inexpensive.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you take to a networking event and just hand out to people.
No, not unless it was for me, an industry specific.
Yeah,
where everybody would benefit from the book. So there's no point giving an electrician a book about hairdressing, although I have sold a couple of these. And I have a business that isn't hairdressing that I mentor.
Yeah.
The principles are the same. It's just the front cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, business is business, really. It's the same thing. Yeah. So when you talk about pushing outside your comfort zone, you've mentioned that a few times.
Yeah.
Do you have a support around you that helps you to keep pushing outside your comfort zone?
Cameron is my husband. He's always supportive. My family know that when I make my mind up, I'm just going to do it. So there's no point arguing. Just sit and watch the show, because it'll be a show. So I was always afraid as a child for whatever reason. So my whole childhood was spent being afraid of my own shadow. And you kind of get tired of that.
Mm.
And when you get tired of that, you just go, what, if it doesn't kill me, why not?
Yeah.
So, you know, you sort of become resilient and learn to be brave. And I have said the word brave a lot, because it does take a lot of bravery to write a book, because you're putting yourself out there to be judged, and you will be judged.
Mm.
Yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, for some of us, it's really easy to... Sorry, I'll just mute Sonia. For some of us, it's really easy to build ourselves up, and we do have that support in our husband and whatever. You have mentioned a couple of times a lack of support in your family, and I think that's pretty common. I've got family members that really don't care what I do, really. You know, they show no interest, and that's sad. But yeah, I think it's that fear. You're always, and I think that's going to be a common thing that comes out today with quite a few of our speakers, is that sort of moving on from fear. Yeah. And when you write a book, you are very much putting yourself out there.
Yeah. So you just have to trust in yourself and have a purpose. And I didn't realise that I didn't have a purpose. I'm really goal focused, and I thought that was purpose. And every time I achieved a goal, I'd get there and go, woohoo, and then go, but I'm not satisfied. It's not. I'm not satisfied. I need more. And so I'd get a goal, and I'd get there, and I'd go, I'm still not satisfied. And so and it wasn't until I published this book that I realised that was my purpose. My purpose is to help other people make better decisions, and that's why I've gone 4 different ways with my books, because they're all topics that are important to me, and all have a purpose, really.
Yeah. So Liz has a question regarding the advertising strategies you put in place for promoting the book. It's had a great outcome, 7 countries. Well, it's not really a question, it's a comment.
Thank you. Yeah. And, you know, I could do a whole training. I will actually do a whole training session on Facebook, because there are so many ethical rules, and there's a lot of etiquette around how you word things. And you know, my Facebook page is a happy page. I try not to post negative things. Yet you get some people who, I'm just my phone's ringing. Some people who post nothing but misery and sadness, and who wants to read that? Everyone has their own problems. So always try and be positive with your comments. That's the main Facebook.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Megan, it's been wonderful having you join us this morning. Thank you so much. Writing a book is a journey, and it's a personal development journey, and you've got to be in it for the long run as well. So I think that's something that you've shared with us. Thank you very much for offering your ebook as well. So there's been a few people drop their email addresses into Zoom. Are you happy for me to extend that out to people who are listening to the recording later on? Yeah, and they can, I'll pass on any email addresses that, you know, for those who are listening in on the recording, and we will also send out links to your website if people are interested in buying your book.
Thank you.
No problem.